Good evening and welcome back to the We Rise Show. I'm your host, Brett C. Collins. How you doing on this muggy Monday? It's what these summers are turning into. You see, Noah, I think, dropped the hurricane report. We're supposed to get like 8 to 14. And then, the time frame of how big they are and where they are. And they said, well, since it's El Nino, it's not going to be as bad as it was. Well, we didn't have any last year. Actually, last year was really good.
We had El Nino last year. Man, fuck these people.
I mean, I don't buy in anything because we know there's weather modifications, there's weather weaponization, and so if they want a hurricane to come and hit the coast, and so Home Depot or Lowe's or all these other places can make money, that's what's going to happen. Or I don't know, or something else more destructive. But I don't buy the forecast per se because they're either completely dead wrong or once in a while they hit the jackpot. But I'm not worried about it this year. I don't really care because I just dip out. If there's a hurricane coming, I'm out. I mean, I don't sit there and wait. Oh, let's see it. You're flooded. There's no power. You can't get out. Just fucking go. Just go. Go somewhere. There's a lot of real estate in Florida to go to. So welcome in my co-host, Marshall Smith. How you doing? How was your weekend?
It was good, I guess. I mean, it was rainy just like over there.
Yeah.
But what gets me about these guys, these NOAA guys, these people with the weather.
Yeah.
I think that we need to check their stock purchases.
I know.
Because if they're investing in Home Depot and Lowe's right before they make a big announcement, some shady, the government's always got some shit going on. It's always a scam. It's always a scam.
The Weather Channel, all these weather apps, and all. I hate them all because
they're standing the wind.
Yeah. Well, it was raining. It was raining on and off this weekend and stuff, and when it rains, that's good. We need the rain in Florida. I know it's raining in different areas because we are in a drought, but it's coming. So, and now it's hot and it's humid. It cools down and stuff, but the other day it was 92 degrees with like 75% humidity. I was like, fuck. I'm like, that's hot. I'm not gonna go biking today. That's just too much. I'll probably pass out and croak.
Could have joined your friends down there.
Where?
Over in Clearwater.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, more Chimp takeovers. It was happening in Clearwater. We'll get to that. It's out of control. Yeah, listen, it's just getting so bad. It's on Instagram, it's on TikTok, and they're everywhere. And they're popping up like zits everywhere. And it's getting worse and worse. And I told you, they're going to utilize this in some way to bifurcate the BLM riots and everything else. And the Summer of Love 2.0 is now going to be masqueraded into this takeover. And it's not teen takeovers, it's black takeovers. These are black, adults, young adults, and adolescents, or maybe older, teens, whatever. But they're black. It's not multiple races. It's black groups. And they're utilizing and orchestrating this, and they're being paid off this in some way. And this was a big thing in Clearwater. I mean, seriously, you don't see this in Clearwater because Clearwater is run by what? Okay? There's a group of people, we all know who they are. They're called Scientologists. Pretty much they own all of Clearwater. They own all of downtown Clearwater and good part of the swath of the beach. So you don't see that over there. So when you see that popping up, then you know that you got the St. Pete pimps, and you got the North Tampa chimps that come down, and there you go, and that's where it is. And there's a lot of people that bitch and moan about that, but you don't see that as much. And it's Cantori is gay. Yeah, he's a global homo. There's no doubt about it. Jim Cantori. I'm glad you guys like the idea of it because we were just wrecking Noah and all of the weather channels, like 6 to 8, maybe 10 storms. I mean, let's just put it up to 13, and we're not really sure how many he's going to hit. We don't know where it's going to hit. We don't know what's going to go on. It's garbage. Tonight's show: Trump stop chirping on Iran. Leftist riot at Delaney Hall. Anyway, we'll cover that. We'll cover the fallout of that. And more Chimp takeovers. I got a bunch of other stuff that we'll get into that, I haven't been covering. If you didn't watch my show last night, I highly suggest you go back on that Sunday show because I talked about a lot of good stuff with AI technology, which is popping up, which is rearing its ugly head left and right. And you need to go back and watch it. Yeah, the Weather Channel's garbage. John 48. What's over there on Rumble? It's good to see everybody over there. It's good to see everybody over here. Hello, Linda Perino on YouTube. Good to see everybody. Like, share, and subscribe. If you want to drop us a gold pill, help us out over here. You can drop us a Rumble rant. You can help out MarshallKofi.com/surfdog74. Let's say hello to everybody on Pilled. Yes, what's up, Darlelle? How you doing? What's up, girl? How you feeling? How was your birthday weekend? How's that tick bite? Everything good? Sausage launcher. Did you burn your house down? Said your oven's on fire. Darlelle, thank you for the can. Good evening, gentlemen. Shout out to the chat. Yes, Rob Stickler. What's up, buddy? How you doing? What's up, Miss B? Who else is here? Thea, what's up? Thank you for the 600 gold pills. Good to see you. Yes, cheers to all out there. Thank you, Thea, for the other 600 gold pills. Thank you for supporting the platform as always. Trusty Turnip, welcome in. Yeah, we had, it was funny because we had a lot of new faces on Pilled that were popping up, a lot of new faces on Rumble for last night's show. Some of them I didn't even know who they were. I don't know if they were trolls or not, but we weren't really being trolled. There was a lot of infighting, but I like the conversations were really funny and stuff. So I'm glad you guys are reacting to that. Yeah. Good evening to you, FL John. What's up, Nah Dog? All right, let's start the show. Let's just get it going with what President Trump is talking about and unpack it a little bit because, look, he's calling out the negative Nellies, the rhetoric that's out there, the chirping, which is basically another term for trash talking. I mean, in this case was making the negotiations much more complicated and difficult in the end to end the conflict. And so President Trump is saying, listen, you unpatriotic rhino cucks and you Democrats, you idiots, shut the fuck up. Let me do my job and it's all going to work out fine. But all you do is bitch and moan. And there are some people are pushing and accelerating this in some way because they want to get this over and done with because you got the midterms and that's all they care about. They don't care about you and I. And then you got the Democrats in the same similar fashion trying to use this like Trump can't do anything right. And they obviously don't care about the country. If they wanted this solved in some way, they would be they'd have just a little bit more proper, let's just say, syntax regarding this stuff. They would basically have better supportive choice words, but they don't. They don't care. They don't like you. They want to replace you with all the legal alien scum. No one's commenting on what's going on with what happened in New Jersey with the ICE riots. Then with the Chimp takeovers everywhere. That's a problem too. We're heading into the summer where things are going to get heated. They're going to get heated and heavy. And there is a plan for this. I'm glad that some of the protesters were arrested. More and more of that. I mean, they're domestic terrorists. You're paid protesters, provocateurs. You got to go to jail. I mean, you can't hit cops. You can't riot. I mean, why is it that we still are allowing this nonsense to continue? And at home, we're rage baiting, at least some people are, about this. So Trump rages against the unpatriotic Republicans and chirping war critics in 1 a.m. meltdown. So again, it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. They don't like the fact that he's up working. So President Trump revealed early Monday morning that his efforts to negotiate and end his deeply unpopular war against Iran were being compromised by chirping critics whom he pleaded to stop, sit back and relax. So the deal supposedly is now taking a break, and we'll cover that in a little bit. Iran wants to make a deal, and it'll be a good one for the U.S., and that's and those that are with us, Trump wrote on social media platform Truth Social. Democrats and very seemingly unpatriotic Republicans understand that it is much tougher for me to properly do my job and negotiate when political hacks keep negatively chirping, trash talking at levels never seen before, over and over and over again. That I should move faster, or I should move slower, or go to war, or not go to war, or whatever. The Trump administration has struggled to broker a deal with Tehran to end the war in large part due to the president's inability to pressure Israel into halting its bombardment of Lebanon, a condition Iran has insisted must be part of any agreement. And with the war causing economic turmoil across the globe, Trump has reportedly been looking for a way out of this conflict he initiated since at least early March, but to no success. Critics across the political spectrum, Trump admitted, were apparently making negotiations much tougher, and to them, the president issued a plea. Just sit back and relax. It'll all work out in the end. Trump won't. You know what, Marshall? I'm completely convinced that it's already done. Let me say that why I feel that way. I feel that all this stuff is just noise. It's just to fill up the summer in some way. It's to create more of the agitprop, more of the theatrical, soft underbelly tones of this in some way. What is he's keeping this alive so the closer we get to midterms, we got a deal. They surrendered. They gave up. We got the dust. We got the nuclear materials and stuff. So there's something there. And, after today's discussion where President Trump basically says Iran cuts off all diplomatic communications and stuff. That means to me something else is up. The Iranian president submitted his resignation last night. The IRGC is now taking control of Iran. What do you make of this in some way? Is this just a stalling tactic? Or are we being blindsided by here? What is it to believe and understand about any of this nonsense anymore?
I think he's doing a little bit of, he's doing the old two-step, if I would call it that. Mm-hmm. He's saying one thing, but he's also calling out, like the chirping he's talking about.
Right.
He's talking about the underhanded assholes that are probably part of the British Kingdom and others out there, deep staters, whatever. And they're in the background throwing fucking shade on everything he's trying to work out with Iran. So he's calling them out. And like you said, this may well already be set, but why waste a good thing when you can call out these bastards?
In Trump's world, there's no bad or negative publicity. Any publicity regarding Trump in it is great publicity, regardless about this war or not. I mean, does anybody characterize this as a war? No, it's not. There's no bombing, not what we could see when that's being reported. I mean, there's intermittent stuff that's happening, but this ain't Iraq. This ain't Afghanistan. Okay? Israel's hitting more Lebanon stuff than we are hitting Iran right now. Whether this is a problem or not, or they're being told to do it or being allowed to do it, because by breaking Hezbollah, is breaking their proxy army, breaking the faction groups of the Houthis or any of these other things is breaking their proxy terrorist organization. So ultimately, a lot of this stuff, I think right now, is being used in some way to navigate a course where we're just sucked into the theater. Nothing is being accomplished purposefully, maybe at the right time, at the right moment. The idea about the possibility of nuclear dust, which is basically the material that is going to come back to us. I got something on that, possibly. Maybe we already have it, and they're just setting up the time. Maybe there's something more than all this. I mean, the constant nagging, the contradictory complaints, the backseat driving about the pace or the speed or the direction of the talks or military action without being constructive. No one's offering or proffering an argument. You had Newt Gingrich say like a month or two ago, just blow up the strait, nuke it. And now he comes out and he's like, after a while, I took a lot of time to sit back and think about what President Trump is doing and understand what's really going on. Well, gee, thanks, Newt. Thanks for that insight that it took you that long to figure out why the rest of us clearly understand what's going on, or at least have some level of this. And we're not pushed or painted in a corner where we feel in some way uncomfortable. We understand energy prices are through the roof. We understand the economic fallout from all this stuff. We understand about distribution prices and all this other stuff. But they were high before this. Okay? And you have to consider that in so many different levels. And I think, look, the longer this drags on, the more unpopular it gets. President Trump don't care about his popularity in the sense of what the polls are saying. Because let's face it, if he was really, let's just say, not liked and unpopular inside and outside of his party, Cassidy would have won. Cornyn would have won. He wouldn't go, 34-0, 100-0. I mean, all these people that he had handpicked and chose would have not won those districts. So don't tell me he's not popular, because the Democrats right now are showing who they are. So Iran cuts off all diplomatic communications with the U.S. The peace negotiations between the U.S. and Iran have been suspended. Maybe that's a good thing. Because honestly, let it be behind the scenes. Obviously they're communicating. There's conversations going on. The internet's up. There's some way to talk to people. Gas is $3.87 by me. There you go. The move by Iran comes just hours after Israel launched attacks. It's still high by me. I'm still in the fours. It's like $4.50 by me. But I'm in Tampa. Tampa's got high taxes. It's just fucking expensive where I'm at. Yeah, South Tampa's expensive. I mean, you go to other places, it's a lot cheaper. So the move by Iran comes just hours after Israel launched attacks on Hezbollah in Lebanon. So this provided the last update in the suspension of peace talks. Iranian state media has just reported Iran has suspended talks with the United States. The announcement comes as President Trump this week and sent back changes to a proposed deal to extend his country's existing ceasefire with Iran. There was supposed to be 60 days that was given. Now they don't like the fact that Netanyahu Netanyahu has instructed his country's military to strike Beirut's Deha district, a Hezbollah stronghold. That's what's going on. The plans are coordinated with U.S. and Israel. What if Iran has already surrendered? It's the people behind Iran, the controllers, the powers, the Bank of London, all these people that don't want them in some way to give up all this. That's what's being negotiated out. We don't know what's happening. No one's telling us anything, and maybe that's the reason. Maybe it's fine. Maybe it's okay, because look, if you got so many Democrats and you got so many rhino cucks that are out there and all they're doing is bitching and moaning and this and that, and they're not focused on anything, and all they are right now is Debbie Downing everything, saying we're going to lose the election because of energy prices and gas prices and all this stuff. It's the economy, stupid, and that's it. It's over. Well, you know what? No one buys you. No one believes you. You know why? Because that Cassidy and Cornyn proved that completely. And Trump's record in the primaries. There is no doubt about it in my mind that any of these people he would have supported that won, that if they didn't win, that could be retroactively reflective of what I'm talking about. But at this point, I think it means nothing, Marshall. And I think at this point, we're just bitching and moaning because it's the summer, and there's not much to talk about. I mean, Congress is coming back right now. I mean, I don't know how much they're emboldened they'll be because of Cornyn losing and Cassidy and a lot of other people. Massey, I don't know how emboldened are they going to be. So let's just say staunch. Are they going to be fickle about trying to pass new bills that President Trump wants, or this is just going to be all like throwing Trump under the bus, and we're going to see more smear tactics, and then we'll get to other stuff.
I think this whole the thing is, the mainstream media is not going to show any of this shit unless there's a bunch of bombs and blood. So because there's none of that, the people are almost practically, I think a lot of them, they have forgotten it. They don't even know is it still going on or what, because the media is not getting what they want, which is destruction.
Right.
They're not getting that. Mm-hmm. So, and as long as it goes that way, hey, Trump said he would just like kind of sit back and just be quiet for a while. I'm all for that. And like you said, if it's already done, or we just waiting for the last dead tomato to drop from the vine. So
no one talks about Ukraine anymore. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, maybe that's a good thing. I mean, does anybody understand what's happening in Ukraine? I honestly don't even know what's going on. I don't even care. I just don't care. I'm tired of spending money and sending money there. I think that's a problem that Congress keeps doing. We're not sending them any more weapons or drones. Europe is doing that now. That's out of our hands. $550 in Long Beach. You're in California there, Curious Cat? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Whoa, that's expensive. Day Cub, $3.99.
$2.17.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. That's crazy. Not dog. Owner of the Weather Channel sucks too.
They're all actors, man.
I know.
They stand in.
The old man originally owned it, where he says that they're promoting fear of global warming, and it's all BS. He says until it became profitable to show the weather. That this never happened. Yeah, it's a good point. That's funny about one day we'll do something on that. So Eric Doherty puts this out. President Trump says he plans to keep blockading Iran and make them lose a fortune after reports of Iranian cutoff negotiations. I think we've been talking too much, and if you want to know the truth, I think going silent would be very good. Yeah, it's worked well for Ukraine. I mean, honestly, we're not doing anything with it. That's the Europeans. It doesn't mean we're going to go and start dropping bombs. We're just going to go silent. We'll keep the blockade. Blockade's a piece of steel. This comes after the U.S. fired off more self-defense strikes. The oil situation at Cargill is getting even worse. 47 will not be outweighed by Iran. All right, let's listen.
Downing an American drone over the weekend. Overnight, the president posted this: Iran really wants to make a deal, and it would be good. It would be a good one for the USA. Just sit back and relax. It will all work out well in the end. It always does. He's also reportedly sent that radical Islamic regime some proposed changes to the latest peace deal. It offers tougher language on Iran's nuclear commitments, and it pledges to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. A former deputy national security advisor is backing the president's approach.
The Iranian regime, the
sitcom, meanwhile, said
they just cut him off. I don't know why. I mean, that whole thing was just cut off. I don't know why they cut that off. But look, you know what? Yeah, I saw that, Darlo. Thank you for the can. I saw it on X that there's another impeachment coming. Yes, there is. And this is because midterm rhinos are joining leading Democrats, Massey, MTG. Yeah, I mean, all because they're gone in some way. Nancy Mace in some way might be involved in it because President Trump supported Pam Evitt to be the governor of California. So basically, she's going to win. I mean, anytime he supports you, that's pretty much it. It's over and done with. That's what we can see. But yes, I think that's what it's being sized up. It's going to be interesting to see who are these names that are going to be Republican. All right, rhinos. They're going to want to go forward with impeaching the president and working with the Democrats to do it this summer. Oh yeah, I've seen it all over the place. I hear it's a lot more happening than we think. And the question is, what's going to be the fallout from this? Is this? I mean, think about it. And if say it even does possibly get to the Senate, what do you think the Senate's going to do? That's going to be interesting because Collins right now has a great opportunity to reclaim her seat in Maine because Planter is falling apart. You have Democrat going crazy on Graham Planter. You have the media. You have the View going after him. So it looks like it doesn't matter if Trump is endorsing her or not. She might just win anyway. Your thoughts about that as we continue on?
Yeah, well, I never thought I would root for Susan Collins, but
neither would I. I don't know if he's going to endorse her, but he might not have to.
Yeah, well, I have, my care about that whole thing there is like an old diaper that's, thrown in the trash. I mean, whatever happens, Brett. But that Planter, or whatever.
Yeah, Planter.
He's a weirdo. He is a
weirdo. He's strange. Self-admitted sexter. He's cheated on his wife multiple times. I guess that's their relationship. It's okay. He's got a Nazi tattoo on him or something like that. Cory Booker has a problem with him. Well, I mean, if this guy was black or brown, he'd get a pass. But since he's white, they can't allow that. They can't even allow this guy to go forward. They know this is a really bad sign for them in some way. And they're pushing back. And even though Bernie Sanders has supported this guy, I don't know how the Democrats are going to be split on this, but there's a lot of eventual pushback on that coming, and that's not going to be good for them for that seat. So Trump tells CNBC, I don't care if Iran negotiations are over. Let's listen to a little bit of this.
With President Trump, what can you tell us?
Kelly, that's right. I called President Trump a short time ago, and he picked up to talk about the negotiations over the weekend with the Iranians. We had this report at the top of the day today that the Iranians were actually breaking off negotiations with the United States. That moved oil markets. And so that's what I asked the president about. I said, do you think the negotiations are over now, or is this a bluff by the Iranians? The president said, I don't care if they're over, honestly. I really don't care. I couldn't care less. If they're over, they're over. If they're not, I think they took too much time. Frankly, I think they started to get a little boring. The president said he thinks that the Iranian side was tapping us along. That is, that they were stalling for time. Ultimately, on oil prices, the president was confident that he said oil will be dropping like a rock. He said, ultimately, if the Iranians want to try and have a nuclear weapon, I will blow them up to kingdom come. He said what this is all about for him is a strongly held conviction that the Iranians should not ever be allowed to have a nuclear weapon, and that American voters will tolerate higher gas prices as long as they know what the goal is here. I also asked him about Netanyahu and the Israelis. I asked, it seems to be that the Iranians are saying they're not going to negotiate until Israel stops attacking in Lebanon. Have you talked to Netanyahu about it? I asked the president. He said, this is about 40 minutes ago, he said, no, but I'm going to ask him what's going on with Lebanon. They've been fighting for a long time. Now, since our call, just in the past couple of minutes, we've seen a report on Reuters that crossed the wires a short time ago, suggesting that the president has now called Netanyahu to discuss that. But at the time that he and I spoke, he suggested that, in fact, they had not talked yet. So then I asked him, what is the end game here in terms of the Strait of Hormuz? How ultimately are we going to get out of the situation that we're in? The president said he thinks that NATO should come in and help the United States out. He said they're the ones, he said, we don't use the strait, we don't need it, we have a lot of oil. And I said, have you talked to anybody at NATO about that? Have they changed their tune on coming in to help the United States in the strait? He said they would if I wanted to, but we don't need them. We don't need NATO. They were very weak and very sad. And the last thing I would leave you with is this idea of, where we go from here. I asked the president, when all this is over, how do you bring this to an end if negotiations are not happening and the ceasefire is in place? I asked him, is it time to end the ceasefire? And the president said, we'll see. Let's say I knew exactly what what you're asking me to do, and I sort of do know it. Why would I tell you? So the president there suggesting that he does have a plan that he's not going to talk to the media about, naturally, to end this situation. But clearly, the president suggesting that he doesn't care that negotiations have wound down with the Iranians. And he thought that the Iranians stringing the U.S. along in the first place and that those negotiations took too long. So there you have the U.S. response, Kelly, to what we saw this morning.
All right, it's just funny and classical Trump, basically stringing them along, more of a publicity event. Like I said, I personally think this thing is done. I think it's over, and they're just drawing this out. No more talks. We're just going to do a blockade, and that's it. And they're just going to back up with all that oil, and that oil is going to go to waste, and they're going to have a problem with this. And what's going to happen? I mean, what is really going to happen? I don't think anybody knows, because we're still thinking this thing is going to keep going on. I mean, it's probably already settled.
I think it's on the disclosure. We're heading towards it. He's delaying disclosure.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah,
but I love the way that reporter, with a straight face, sat there and read himself being humiliated by the president.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like, I'm not going to tell you anything, you fucking idiot. I mean, why would I tell you anything? And he's reading that out, to his audience. And people are seeing this and like, yeah, he called you a schmuck. He's like, why would I tell you any of this stuff? He's not. Why even ask that question? He's not going to give away the goods. And you're right, Marshall. This is delaying the inevitable, which is what? The truth about the deal. And I think that's what it is. And how long do we get to continue with this? It could be another month. It could be all the way to the end of summer. I don't know. But something is going to give way. Yeah. And I think it's about the nuclear material, about tracing it back. Did Hillary Clinton give it to Iran? Russia, and then Russia gave it to Iran? Is this what we're going to find out? Many people suspect that. Let's listen to this. This comes from Constitutional Patriot. This was a pretty good one. I think I overlooked this. It was a couple of days ago, and I found this one. I don't know why. I think someone sent it to me. Bombshell alert. Oh, yeah, you sent it to me. Treason unraveling in real time. Well, isn't this the mother of all coincidences? What if the uranium Hillary Clinton sold to Russia while she was Secretary of State somehow ended up in Iran's nuclear stockpile right after Obama shipped them plane loads of cash? The enriched uranium just surrendered. If forensic tests match it to the uranium one batch, game over. Hillary, Obama, jail, treason, history books. No more hiding behind controversy, free fairy tales. Obama's legacy is cracking wide open, and the American people are finally waking up to the greatest scandal of our lifetime. This isn't a conspiracy. This is karma catching up. Trump was right all along. Who else is ready for the truth to drop like a nuke? Okay, let's listen to this.
One for a quick trip to Arizona for an event that we'll see later on today. He didn't take any questions, but he just told CBS News. He basically explained why
this was a couple of days ago.
A deal is about to be closed with the Iranians. He says that they have agreed to let United States, not troops, just somebody from the United States, go in to Iran with some Iranian officials to collect leftover uranium, what he calls the nuclear dust, and then bring it back somewhere to the United States. That has been the key to all of this. The president earlier today disputed a report in Axios that the U.S. might unfreeze $20 billion in Iranian money in exchange for getting them to fork over all this uranium. He says not a dollar will be exchanged in any way. So we will definitely hear more about this once he gets to Arizona, but there's a lot happening, and it is possible that he doesn't want to get ahead of
I guess this was like 5 or 6 days ago on the 26th. Let me see. I think it was. So I never heard this. And that was just shocking in some way, Marshall. I didn't realize that in some way, what the hell that was. That blew me away completely. Your thoughts about that? You sent that to me, so.
Yeah, and that could be another reason why Trump is waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you've got all this uranium powder or whatever the fuck they call it, and you got Hillary did the uranium trade-off with Russia about the same time that Obama gave them pallets of fucking cash, and then you find out that those two are intertwined, and then you find out that they were actually funneling uranium and nuclear materials to Iran.
Yeah.
And like it said in the thing, somewhere in there, it said, this is treason at the highest level, coming from the highest offices. So,
yeah, I think that's, well, yeah, I mean, the question is, number one, do we have that material back in our possession? Don't know. That's a very don't know, big don't know. I don't know. Is there a reason why that we're just stalling for this time for that material to turn over and for them to process it? That's a good possibility. Again, all these things factor in. Thank you, Darla, for the can. Senor Polo, what's up? Thank you for the can. How you doing? Curious Cat, gift to the cookie. Afternoon. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe. Drop us a gold pill. Comments, questions, concerns. Please like and subscribe as well. You can help out Marshall. Ko-fi.com/surfdog74. Max Dog over here says bigger scandal is joining the IDF with our troops. Absolutely shameful and disgusting. Makes sense. They already act like they are together. I don't know if that's true
maybe
or not.
the other way around.
I would consider that. Go ahead, Marshall. I mean, that's a good
I mean,
point.
maybe it's the other way, or maybe it's neither.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that Israel has been basically they're cut off.
Yeah.
We're not going to support.
Remember, Iran equals Israel. Iran.
Well, that's what I mean. Yes.
Or Israel. It's the inverse.
Same.
Yeah, and
they're run by England.
Right. So you have to consider killing two birds with one stone in some way. And we don't know. I mean, I can't imagine Israel giving them nuclear material and stuff. We know that they sold them weapons over the years in the 80s and the 90s. That's what the Iran scandal, Iran-Contra deals back in the 80s. Israel was selling them parts for weapons and planes and all this other stuff. And that's what got caught up in all that. But where did this material originate from? I mean, obviously, if it's ours and we could trace this back, I mean, are the deals in place? Do we already know all this stuff? Probably. I mean, they're just slow walking this out and setting this up. I mean, for a lot of other people, maybe they're waiting for other chips to fall in other places, other heads to roll. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know at this point. And at this thing is like, I don't worry about it. I don't freak out on X like a lot of people do and hate Trump and hate MAGA because you support him. It's like people can't afford anything, blah, blah, blah. You know what? Everybody is paying the same thing. Some people pay more than others, okay? And the rest of us are not bitching and moaning like you are in some way, or there's many people like that on, and they just can't shut the fuck up. They just can't. Just go to Canada. Go to Canada, all right? Self-immolate. Sign up in your depression program.
They're just deliberate. They're deliberate disruptors is all they are.
I mean, honestly, all you do is bitch and moan. I mean, you're not doing anything. You're just as bad as the Democrats and the Rhino cucks. If you're not constructive enough to offer suggestions and opinions and to a point to help maybe guide the conversation, to help like be intuitive into such a way that you can really break this down and stuff, but you got to be negative. You really got to put that foot down on people's necks to just, squash everything to make it so difficult and uncomfortable. We get it. We understand it. But no one's sitting there like blowing our hair off on fire and stuff. We're not freaking out over it. There are other things that I'm worried about. Believe me, this whole thing that's going on, this is something else that I thought was interesting. An Islamic terrorist who planned, and I didn't hear anything about this, and planned to assassinate President Trump's daughter, Ivanka, is appearing in federal court. Did you hear anything about this, Marshall? I had no idea about this. Ivanka's home. She had her home. This guy had her blueprints. How the fuck did they get our home blueprints? He was serious. The Iraqi national is an Iran-trained and plotted nearly 24 terror attacks. He faced 8 federal charges, including providing federal support to foreign terrorist organizations. Prosecutors said al-Sayadi wanted to attack Jewish centers in Los Angeles, Scottsdale, Arizona, and planned to burn and bomb a synagogue here in New York City. Sources tell New York Post. Al-Sayadi also pledged to assassinate President Trump's daughter, Ivanka, even had a blueprint of her Florida home. What the? I mean, I'll play a little bit of this. I mean, I don't want to move on, but what is this?
Hezbollah and the IRGC
no idea about this.
Accused of planning nearly 20 terrorist attacks across the U.S. and Europe. set to appear in court. Among the explosive allegations now, a plot said to be targeting Ivanka Trump. Brian Yennis live outside the courthouse, Lower Manhattan, with us now. Brian, hello.
Bill, good morning. Well, Hezbollah terrorist commander Mohammed al-Sadi will be arraigned in Manhattan federal court behind me at 12:30 this afternoon. Al-Sadi faces 8 federal charges, including providing material support to 2 foreign terrorist organizations, Kataib, Hezbollah in Iraq, and Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps. Now, al-Sadi is accused of directing and planning nearly 20 terrorist attacks and attempted attacks throughout Europe and the United States in retaliation for the U.S.-Israeli war in Iran. Prosecutors say al-Sadi wanted to attack Jewish centers in Los Angeles, Scottsdale, Arizona, and planned to burn or bomb a synagogue here in New York City. Sources tell the New York Post al-Sadi also pledged to assassinate President Trump's daughter, Ivanka, and even had a blueprint of her Florida home. A social media account purportedly belonging to al-Sadi posted a threat showing the Florida neighborhood where Ivanka lives. He reportedly wanted to murder Ivanka as retribution for President Trump's killing of Iranian military general Qasem Soleimani in a U.S. drone strike back in 2020. Al-Sadi told the FBI Soleimani considered him a son, according to the indictment. Now, investigators say evidence from al-Sadi's iPhone shows him on FaceTime calls watching and filming European terrorist attacks that he helped to direct as they were happening. He would then package these attack videos into propaganda. Now, al-Sadi was caught in an undercover sting operation. Prosecutors say that he paid $3,000 in cryptocurrency to a Mexican cartel member to attack a synagogue here in New York. Well, it turns out, Bill, that cartel member was an undercover officer. He now faces up to life in prison if convicted. Bill?
Wow. That's crazy. Did anybody hear that story? Did you know about this? I mean, my question is more, how did he get the blueprints? I mean, obviously, he got the geotag location of where she's in Miami, okay? But the blueprints to the house. I mean, how would you come by those blueprints in some way? You'd go to the records at City Hall in some way? You pay someone off from that? I mean, or are we embellishing the idea? It's blueprints, and it's more about the geotagging of the location of the home. Because when you say blueprints, you know, you're saying every facet of how the home is constructed. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of a misnomer and misleading in some way. Are you just saying the geotag location is much more a prescribed discussion here? I mean, can you imagine he had fucking blueprints how to get into the back door and gate? And I also think that because they're Jewish in some way, obviously he was rolling with that. That's why he wanted to kill her and her family. But I mean, it's nuts in some way that we're hearing about this now, and it's just odd how they caught this guy. But how did they know that he was going to do this? Because of the phone? Because of they found blueprints on him? I mean, I want more information about that. That's just very odd indeed.
And to me, what's interesting is that, well, I'm not going to laugh, but
yeah,
the kind of people that are architects are usually Israeli type people.
Mm-hmm.
They usually are architects. They get involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say that's here or there. That's probably
right.
Nothing. But the fact is that the biggest thing to me is that Ivanka Trump, she is probably the one child except Barron.
Mm-hmm.
She is probably if something happened to her, it would destroy Trump. It would destroy this guy, or he would lose it bad. I mean, he would be very badly affected by it, because we know how much he loves that's his baby girl, baby daughter.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I just, you know, it's strange, and I hope nothing happens to anybody. And they
I mean, look, I mean, I agree with that completely, and I just think that that's a very odd thing to hear about that. I see them getting on private. I hope they just basically have security. I'm sure they do. I mean, how do you not have security? I mean, you got to have.
Well, the island, there's only one bridge.
There's only one bridge to come in. You have your own security in that way.
It's a whole private.
Nodog says if you get structural or engineers involved, even more info is available. It's a good point. I mean, so you're saying that it could have been hacked information that was online or leaked out? That's possible. Okay, I get you. All right, moving on. Let's listen to this.
his proposed drone port on the roof of the White
I
House
wanted to show this
ballroom.
yesterday,
The
but
US
they
president
blocked out the
posted
pictures.
an
Look how amazing this is.
image or images online depicting drones and troops on top of the building. He's calling on a lawsuit hindering the project to be dismissed. Posting on Truth, he says the drone port at the White House ballroom will be perhaps the most sophisticated anywhere in the world. It'll safeguard our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., long into the future. The advent of highly sophisticated and powerful modern-day weaponry, we can no longer defend Washington, D.C. with rifles and pistols alone. This ridiculous lawsuit must be dismissed immediately.
Yeah, I mean, look, honestly, this whole project is being funded privately, but yet there is an injunction on there by some stupid, crazy judge, which is going to get overturned anyway, because what are you blocking this for? What is this about? Because you want Congress. See, what they want is the information that is classified to be matriculated out to the members of Congress and the Senate. They want this information. They want this out there. They want the whole blueprints that we're talking about.
There you go.
They want all that stuff.
Sure.
They want the schematics. They want the understanding of this, and so they can leak it out. That's what Congress does. That's what they want. So that's why this judge put this injunction in, because all the deep state operators are out there that maybe are still in the Pentagon or what have you, because Marshall and I tend to believe that the Pentagon is going to go bye-bye and a new installation is going to be formed underground. It's just a little shocking thing.
Brett, I don't think people could, because when I first saw this picture, this article, I didn't know what the hell that picture was. Can you show that picture again? The one with the drones on the roof. Yeah. The first one, that first one. Yeah. Okay. Because you can't, it looked like the reflecting pool at first when I saw it. I'm like, is that fireworks? Is it, and they show that picture. And that's the actual roof of the right there. No, the other one.
Image.
Yeah, look at that.
Online.
I'll pause it.
People don't realize that is that one right there.
Online. Images. Online.
Man. There you go. That's
look at that, Brett. I mean, that's at first I didn't know what that was until I really looked at it. And now you see, and those I guess are the drones.
Right, and they come
which
up.
Are like small jets.
They come up. They don't sit on top. They go down and they come up.
Like the Osprey.
Look at how but they go see those circles? I wonder if they go down. Like when they're not operational, they open up after they come up and then open up, or they just sit on top of it automatically. I wonder if they're just going to be there patrolling. I mean, yes, it's totally incredible. I mean, it's honestly, when you really think about how amazing this is, I mean, I don't think people understand how cool this is. And you know what? For the detriment and betterment and for the safety, for future presidents, DC in general, you're going to need this. Remember, there was a period of time during the Biden administration that all these fucking drones or UAPs or weird anomalous things that were popping up in the sky. And Trump is like, I can't tell you. Remember, he told us about that? About all the drones and stuff that were popping up, the balloons and all this stuff that people are freaking out about. And then he comes into office and he's like, I really can't tell you about that. Maybe one day I'll tell you about that. But that's all it was. I know who it was. So basically, who was it? It was our military doing it, or the clandestine operations that were doing it all over the place. And what was it? Was it to scare people? Yeah. But why? What was it alluding to? I don't know. I don't still think we got an answer about that going forward, and I would like to eventually get an answer about that. He never answered that question. So moving on, Breitbart puts this out, and they deleted all the videos and the pictures in this about the Antifa arrest, because when I originally saw this on Yandex, which I love Yandex, and then you go on the site, you bring it out, then Google crops them all out, and even when I use Brave, all the images don't come back. So New Jersey arrest Antifa rioters all over the place at ISIS Delaney Hall. This was really bad. Zero tolerance for rioters, said the Post from Department of Homeland Security after police arrested many Antifas. Look, they got rid of all the pictures, all the videos. They don't want you to see them. That's what pisses me off, but I'll show you this because it goes to this. Let's see if it goes. Okay. Let me stop sharing there and see if it. All right. Now put this up. See if it shares this. All right. Yeah. This is Nick Sorda's stuff. Now, see, it blocks a lot of that stuff. It's crazy. Look at this. I mean, look. It finally. The state police came in there and they started arresting. I got more videos, more features and stuff, but Breitbart basically, all the pictures, all the videos were removed purposely. They didn't want to see the violence and the attacks. I wonder why that is, because it got really ugly and really bad. And they already arrested 2 individuals that hit cops, and they're going to go to jail for 10 years. I mean, they've already been indicted, so they're moving forward with like this, the assault. There was Nick Sorda was talking about. I have other videos, but look, I just wanted to show you that because the fact that Breitbart had these videos all cropped out from the report because Google did that, and they sized them all out. So where they were showing it, they just took it out, and I was just like, fuck it, I'll just go find my own videos. I think we need to have that because it's all bullshit. Here's one video that I wanted to show you that just got out of control. I mean, this is how violent it's been. I mean, look at this. So this chimp is freaking out.
They chimping out.
We're dealing with this shit for 400 years. Literally.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I've been dealing with it. Me and Aunt Jemima, we've been dealing with it.
I'm going to let y'all know that. The same shit they doing to y'all right now, we've been going through this shit.
The governor said that 6 out of the 7 people that were arrested, this is a Democrat governor, okay, that said 6 out of the 7 people arrested were out of state. Okay, and the majority of people there that they've scanned in there are all the cars in all these parking spaces with someone there with monitoring all these things. Okay, someone with a clipboard and doing all this stuff. And these are paid provocateurs. You heard Mark Wayne Mullen say it today. These people are paid provocateurs that are coming in here. We should just arrest a whole lot of them. I mean, look, I'm not one to basically just vanquish and eliminate like we did during 9/11, your First Amendment right to protest, okay? But this is not protesting. It's gotten to the point where it's rioting, okay? And soon as that starts up, you should just arrest everybody. Everybody. You're caught up in the riot. You're arrested as one big group, one big gang. And that's how it should be, all right? If you don't want to be caught up and be arrested in this, because it's not protesting. This is full-on rage rioting, okay? And considering you don't even live there and you're out of state, more charges should be thrown out of you, okay? You should start to see different things with interstate laws and commerce, with selling goods overstate, where they have all these tents and money that are being set up. Who is paying for all this stuff? I mean, we hear the Secretary of Treasury and Doug Burgum both say that these things are coming down. We're going to find out once and for all who's funding it, who's doing it, and we're going to take them out. Yeah, you have to take them out because you're still going to continue with this nonsense. But look, anytime this pops up, this should be quelled automatically. And yes, they waited their time, but she got pressure. All right, the governor got pressure. Mickey, I forget her name is Mickey something. She got pressure from the Homeland Secretary. Yeah, Mickey Sherrill. She got pressure big time and pushback from Homeland Secretary. And they said, look, if you don't do anything, we're going to come in with feds, okay? And then Trump's going to call in the National Guard. It was just that bad. And you know what? She just got elected, or she's just snuck in, barely. I'm going to tell you right now, that's not going to be good on her watch because you'll look like a failure. And she knows she can't do anything about it because most of these people are not from New Jersey. Let's continue.
I swear to God. I swear to God. Guaranteed. Know what the fuck we going through. And these people be the cause, bro.
Oh, shit. Man, he got snatched quickly. Give me back my fried chicken. There he goes.
They chipping out.
Yep, that's what happens to you. See, when you see this type of scenario happen and stuff, and this should be not just for him. I mean, there was a lot of other people that got popped as well rather quickly, but this should have been done a while ago. And the state police weren't called in until like a couple of days ago. All right. And they're the ones who are in charge of the arresting. And so here we go. Here's Nick Sorda putting this out there with the camera. They were trying to injure the animals, the horses. Just as Nick Sorda erupts on Antifa and leftists, hurling rocks, wooden pieces at horses, trying to disable them. These people are sick bastards. The left equals animal abusers. No fucking shit. Hurling 2x4s and rocks at the head of horses that are walking down the street. That's embarrassing. Let's listen to this.
Joey, I would say it's worse than any other riot that I have ever attended, over the course of this quote unquote anti-ICE stuff, right? I mean, it's total anarchy. That video of the horses, I couldn't believe it. Them hurling 2x4s and rocks at the head of horses that are, walking down the street. It's not like they were charging people with the horses. They were merely walking down the street. They were trying to disable the horses. I mean, that's a pretty nonpartisan thing, man, where, you'd probably be like, trying to kill horses in the street is a, like not a controversial issue. Like these people are clearly sick in the head. That's it.
Until that horse kicks you in the face and breaks your neck.
Your video. Don't attack law
as it
enforcement.
should.
Don't attack
law
enforcement horses that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, these people, interstate commerce, I'm right. I'm talking about that. Yeah, start charging them the trucking and bus companies. I see you, Nah Dog. I see you, Hello Mom. Yeah, honestly, you see all these buses coming in? That's where you go. Go right after them. You're transporting domestic terrorists across state lines. I don't know how. I mean, why isn't it not much easier if we're saying that most of these people, we know who they are? I mean, it's not just facial recognition and all these other things we have. We're tracking and tracing. I thought those days are over. I thought we had this information. They're all get to the can. Meth is a hell of a drug. Antifa fags are jacked up on it. Well, they're jacked up on something. They're all get to the can. That picture was so cool. Yep, the drones. I know. Thank you to you for the 600 gold pills. Yeah, I mean, look, it's fantastic. And you know what? I can't get enough of what he's doing in there. Let's move on by this comes out from a Department of Homeland Security. I'm going to show you this. Some of these and see, they're putting this out because, again, Google and many other platforms were deleting a lot of the videos that a lot of people. That's why I was getting my stuff from Yandex, or I was looking on X in some way, but they were deleting the videos. They don't want to see the violence and stuff. They don't want to show this. If you riot, you'll be arrested. Last night, our New Jersey law enforcement partners took action and arrested a lot. Yeah, because they're the state police. They, okay, are the highest authority, okay, in the state. They have the authority to do that. It's their job. ICE doesn't arrest. They can detain and arrest eventually, then turn them over. But it's really their job. They have the authority. They're in charge of the federal land and the property. All right. And people get out of the way attacking federal officers. Well, you're going to be arrested. You could even be shot. Whatever happened to the Minnesota people? They're gone. They're bye-bye. Remember those people? Now we move on to New Jersey, and it's a shit show.
So that's just some of what we saw last night. And it's at least maybe 24 arrests and counting. Authorities used tear gas to clear the crowd, while DHS tells Fox there's zero tolerance for rioters here. Mark
Lane Mullen came out. This is the Secretary of Homeland Security. He says right now, wearing the goggles, wearing the mask, that's not protesting. You're setting up for what? You're getting gear to riot. That's what you are. Why not get water cannons? If obviously the tear gas ain't working, how about knockout gas? How about sleeping gas? I don't know. But if they're all wearing masks and goggles, obviously it's going to be ineffective. So what's the point of this? How about rubber bullets? You saw some people shot. Some guy was shot in the dick. And he got what he got. Okay? What about the beanbags? We need more of this nonviolent type of response. But it's getting heavy, and I think that something else has to take place. This cannot be allowed. And I'm sick and tired of seeing it. And we're entering the summer. This is what you're seeing. This is what they did during BLM. And now we got all the problems that are happening. It's starting to bubble. You're starting to see this reach a crescendo, and you're going to move from one place to another, and it ain't going to stop.
So that's just some of what we saw last night. And it's at least maybe 24 arrests and counting. Authorities used tear gas to clear the crowd, while DHS tells Fox there's zero tolerance for rioters here.
Yeah, you're right, Nacian. I mean, you're absolutely right. A zero tolerance sounds nice. How about doing something about it? You only arrested 2 people. How about arrest all of them? Okay? You're unlawfully on property you should not be. You're rioting. That's it. Just charge them all. All right? See what happens to them. Now, maybe a lot of them will walk in and walk out, but it doesn't matter. If you're going to charge them with federal crimes, then it's going to be tough. Okay? Then it's going to be harder for them. If you're not, and you charge them with state crimes or something else, then they'll probably walk through the shitty judicial system that we have in a lot of these blue city state sanctuary fiefdoms like New Jersey. Marsha, your thoughts? You're muted.
How long is it going to take before deadly force is starting to be used?
I mean,
we've in my opinion, we're already past this point.
Yeah.
They need to start shooting these goddamn people.
Right.
And I guarantee a lot of them are not even fucking American.
Right. I mean,
they're importing these fucking these mercs.
The idea that as soon as they walk out, they should be arrested. You should be encircling them. You should be watching them, and just like that's it. Because if you're out there with the gear, you're not, and you were there before the night before doing the same thing, you should set them up for the next day, let them come in, and then just arrest them, okay? Before it gets out of hand, before more and more people start arresting one by one, okay? And you know what? Just arrest them and let the courts deal with it and see what happens, all right? You don't want to do that. Why not? Because you think it's going to what? Make the First Amendment look bad in some way? You've already had multiple riots. So anybody showing up in this area is just going to continue on with the violence. It's not going to change. Here it is. Representative, this is where a reminder from Homeland Security to Representative Jeffries, because this piece of shit comes out. He completed a congressional oversight visit with members of New Jersey. Delaney Hall should be shut down. We'll get to that. But DHS doesn't make laws. Congress does. We don't pick and choose which laws to enforce. And neither should you as a lawmaker. It is a crime to enter the United States illegally. Everyone being told inside the Delaney Hall, he broke the law. They could go home. They could self-deport, but they choose not to. And since not, too bad. U.S. Code Title 8. This is the detention center. We do not provide luxury accommodations. That's right. It's not the fucking Hilton Inn. I mean, seriously, we provide basic necessities like beds, clean water, They probably get better meals than they do in prison. Think about it. 3 meals a day until they go home. They come to our country illegally. We will find out and arrest you. Let's play this. Man, my voice.
Here in America, immigration enforcement should be fair, just, and humane. That's not what's going on here at Delaney Hall. We spoke to several individuals, none of whom has a criminal record, many of whom have been detained here at Delaney Hall for months. This is not America. The lack of access to quality food, that's not America. The lack of access to adequate medical treatment, that's not America. The retaliation that is taking place, that's not.
These people are getting treated better than homeless veterans. Yeah, definitely. The fact that they're getting anything, okay, all right, and are being allowed and afforded that, okay, shows you the humility, shows you the patience. But all they could do is self-deport, and they don't have to go through this process and stick in there. But here we are with this idiot. Again, Congress makes the laws. They set this up. It's up to them to change it.
In America, the fact that there are 18-year-old high school girls being held here, that's not America. Delaney Hall should be shut down. And every single individual, particularly those at a high level connected to this facility, they're engaging in a depraved indifference to human life.
Depraved indifference.
And every
Wow.
single member of this Trump administration is going to be held accountable.
Oh yeah. So you're planning on when you take power, when you think you're going to take power in the midterms, you're going to go after everybody. You're going to arrest people. You're going to impeach everybody. You're going to do everything you can to come after people. Good luck with that. Remember that when you're at the voting booth, okay? And you want to play games and stuff. There's only one choice. Okay? You know what that choice is when you go and vote in your local municipalities. Okay? It's just that simple. Let's see what happens and unfurls out this summer if some rhino cucks want to play loosey-goosey with the impeachment stuff because they're pissed off that Trump didn't support them. And now that they're out, they basically want to go on a blaze of glory. Let's see how that works. It's not going to work out well for them, Marshall.
Yeah, he's talking about this isn't American, this is not American, this is not American. You know what's not American, Hakeem? It's for a white person, a white citizen of the United States to get on a bus and have their throat slit and bleed out on the floor. And what's not American is going to the grocery store and nobody speaks fucking English. That's what's not a fucking American. God, these people, Brett, man, they make me fucking sick.
No, I know. You know what's not American? I want to go to the beach with my family, but I can't because there's a bunch of fucking chimps running around with guns, all right, playing tag like it's a fucking video game because they got the Instagram TikTok call. Well, that shit don't fly. And we're sick of it. You wonder why we reached our intolerance, our impatience. That's why people use terms like faggot, retard, nigger, because you know what? We're over it. It doesn't mean anything anymore. The idea of application to meaning is what? Systematically over. When you're calling a spade for the logical conclusion of what it is, that you have monsters running around, roaming this country, and the reason we're getting out. I mean, look, Bavino's right. If we have over 100 million people in here, when is this acceleration process going to happen? You know, I mean, what are we up to, 3 million? Okay, that's great. How many more people have self-deported? I don't know. I mean, I don't know when we're going to get to this point. Okay, but something has to take place, and it might happen after the midterms. But man, this is going to be an ongoing process for quite some time. It's not going to just end with the Trump administration when he dips out 29. You know, I mean, in 29 or 30. You know, I don't know. Maybe it gets 2 years. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But you're going to need a lot more. We need to see how many people. You'd have to say probably right now 1 million people a month. Is that even possible? 1 million people a month? I don't think so. Even 100,000 people a month is going to be very hard. DHS tells Governor Mickey Sherrill is lying about DHS meeting with her demand. DHS official tells me we did not cave to the governor's demands. Visitation was suspended because the violent riots outside the facility made it unsafe for our officers, detainees, families, and lawyers to visit the facility with Delaney Hall secure. ICE operations continue as normal. And to be clear, visitation was only suspended because of the violent riots. Now that's what we have, secure perimeter, and visitation can resume. This whole thing, what she was saying here, is that she was critical about that and there was some agreement to restore it. No, they wanted to what? Get the state police out there to stop this. They wanted to make sure, because I can tell you right now, Homeland Secretary is like telling her straight up, we don't want to have more federal agents in here. We don't want to have to send in the National Guard, you know? Because if Trump gets involved with this to do this, that's what's going to happen. You're allowing this to happen. And I think that the messaging that she was given, and then after the arrests were happening, they realized these are out-of-towners. We have a lot of problems with this. And she realized that she come to her senses in some way. Because this was going to blow up. Because everything that they wanted, they weren't going to get until they stopped this. So I don't know what's going to happen or what's going to continue on. Are they going to continue on allowing this type of abuse to go on? Yeah, of course. I mean, it's
they're going to let it flow, man. As long as the Democrat running the state, it's game over.
Yeah,
they're just going to keep letting this shit go on, and we're doing this. You mentioned it, kind of touched on it earlier. You know, we're doing the same thing. We're getting the same result.
Yeah.
Well, we got to stop doing the same thing, getting the same result. Why don't we go to where the buses are at 6 a.m. when they pick up these people, and stop them right there?
That's what Aloha Mom was alluding to. That's why I was trying to make that comment about interstate commerce and laws and stuff. Why don't we stop? Why don't we nip it in the bud before it even allows to unfurl out? You know, where are you people coming from? You pull the bus over, inspect everything. Yeah, you detain them and find out what's going on. Why are we getting ahead of these things? That's what I just don't understand. And it would be simply that. You stop all that. I saw Nacion say that. It's crazy. But
there's plenty of online people that would love to, that live in their own town, that would say, hey, these buses are gathering.
Right.
I don't know where they're going. They're at this mall in the parking lot, and they're picking up all these liberals or whatever. I mean,
honestly, you're going to tell me you don't have undercovers following them? So you had undercover feds or assets during January 6th. About 200 and something of them embedded in that crowd, but you can't find human assets, human or assets or whatever you want to have, undercovers following and tracing and tracking and finding all these people. If they're labeled domestic terrorists, you know they're Antifa. The Secretary of Homeland said it today. So why are they still there, allowed to continue to act if they're labeled as domestic terrorists? Anybody that's there should all be arrested. Round them up, okay? Let the courts settle it out. Go through the process and stuff like that. Well, I was just doing it. No. There's a bunch of laws you can put in place. And if you find out that any of these people are affiliated with them, you charge them with domestic terrorism. Plain and simple. Let it go to the courts. Let that decide. At least you get them off the street and you stop what they're doing. And so ICE can continue doing what they're doing. I just don't get it. I really don't understand it. I don't know why the hammer has not come down yet. This is the things I don't understand. Why are we not doing something a little bit more forceful? Why isn't there more attack? Why isn't there more, let's just say, pushback? I'm sick and tired of seeing this. I'm sick and tired of seeing the rioting. I told you, if this is not going to be settled, we're going to have a fucking civil war. You're going to have American citizens out there shooting everything, brown, black, green, yellow, orange, because people are tired of it. They don't want to live in neighborhoods where they can't even go out and enjoy because you got a bunch of what? Animals, rioters, domestic terrorists, as we're told, as they are. It's just bullshit, man. It's just fucking bullshit. Let's continue. Here it is. Never forget, Democrats are the party that refuse to stand for protecting and putting American citizens first. This is a great one.
Stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
And they didn't stand up. They didn't stand up. You know who they are. Look at that. That fucking alien. Here's another one. Look at these people.
Shame of yourself, not standing.
Shame of yourself. Exactly. Because they don't care. They don't like you. They don't care. They're not in the business of helping you. The Congress doesn't do anything to really make your life better. It's your local municipalities. Okay? Do you understand that? At local levels, that's where elections are won and started. And that's where the roots are started. That's where all the stuff is done. Yeah, Darrell, you make a great point. Continue on with that. Are the buses and trucks transporting interstate unmarked? That's another great point. I mean, again, is anybody watching and demarcating and tracking and tracing them? I want to know. I want to know. I don't hear anything about that. And if it is, it's on the hush hush, the QT. It's not even being discussed. And maybe for a greater roundup later on. I don't know, Marshall.
I mean, how hard would it be to just put a GPS on some of these vehicles?
Bingo.
I mean, that's honestly, just so basic. I mean, it's not even rocket science. You just pay some dude to go around. Hey, put these on these buses. You can identify easily who the buses are being run by.
Right.
And then just tag them. That's it.
Not with just the pictures or their license plates on them. I mean, if they don't have license plates on them, well, then a commercial license plate, then you pull them over. I mean, honestly, it's easy to identify these things. I don't know why. It's not like they have some stealth going on and they just disappear in the light. Senor Polo gifted the can. I thought Antifa was designated as a terrorist organization. They are. They are designated as a domestic terrorist organization. Many other groups are as well. So Trump reportedly drops, President Trump, the $1.8 billion weaponization fund. This was a big deal, and a lot of people didn't like it. And you know what? These are the rhino cucks. These are the people that are disgusting. Mike Pence is disgusting. Fuck that weasel. All right? What a piece of shit. You have other people inside the House and the Senate that didn't like this. What? You didn't like the fact that this kind of money could help what? Help Tina Peters? See, they don't want that because they're all pissed off and foaming at the mouth that she was let out of prison by Governor Polis. And he's taking a lot of flack for that. They commuted her sentence, but we don't know what that commutation is going to look like going forward. And so President Trump says, we'll drop it. Highly controversial $1.8 billion weaponization fund was created for setting up his lawsuit against the IRS. It's dead for now. This is money he won from the IRS. This is his own money, his own, okay? Justice Department, according to Mark Caputo, to utilize this money to help what? Give back restitution of damages for people that were injured by the IRS, by the Justice Department, many other different facets, the FBI, you name it, law enforcement, anybody that had a handle. Look at these people that were incarcerated and they threw away the key. It's dead for now, the administration told Caputo. Trump's DOJ released the press release last month declaring the fund was created to provide a systematic process to hear and redress claims. Well, I thought, in the First Amendment, we have something of a redress, okay, of grievances. Why are we not utilizing that in the First Amendment in some way to highlight that in this area? Why was this not brought up now? And we're just going to sock it away until after the midterms because people don't like it because of what took in place in January 6th. We say, well, cops were beat up. No, all those cops, okay, engaged on unlawful fights that killed 2 people, and then some of them ended up suiciding themselves. So spare me that nonsense. Critics quickly denounced the fund as a slush fund for Trump allies. Really? Well, who's a Trump ally that's getting this money? No one's gotten this money. Former Mike Pence. Oh, he's out in the forefront. Condemned the fund over the weekend on Meet the Press. Urged the president to scrap it. Get rid of this fund, Pence said. No one listens to you. Why are you even on these platforms? You represent nothing, okay? Only in the Rhino Cuck Nation, which is a small percentage. No one cares. No one even likes you. No one even trusts you. We know you're a weasel. Compensate people who assaulted police officer, vandalized the Capitol on January 6th, and I think it's broadly held by most Republicans and most Americans. Oh, yeah, because they don't like the fact Trump pardoned all those people as well. All right, they forgot to mention that. House Speaker Mike Johnson spoke to Trump at the White House on Monday about the fund amid growing outcry in Congress, which roiled the GOP, many senators, MAGA ally Johnson, okay? And Trump critic Tom Tillis, he's on his way out, have spoken against the fund in stark terms. I think it's stupid on stilts, Tillis said. No, you're a fucking piece of shit. The fund in late May adding it'll be invariably put into a position where the taxpayer dollars and my taxpayer dollars could potentially compensate someone who assaulted a police officer, admitted their guilt, got convicted, got pardoned, and now we're going to go pay for that. What are you doing with all these other people? You allowed all these third world scum from all these nations to come in the back door and utilize them and allow them to what? Create the largest amount of grift and graft and fraud. Look at California. They had to set up a law to block the Nick Sorrell bill. I mean, it's insane. All right, so that's okay. So they can steal and all this other stuff, and we're going to arrest them. Well, that money goes to the NGOs. But God forbid, American citizen who's struggling because he or she lost their livelihood because of January 6th, lost their home. They were divorced from their family. They don't get to see their kid. What kind of crap is that? This is why I'm saying Congress is garbage. Fuck them. Fuck them all. All right? Wait till the midterms. President Trump is remembering. He remembers everything. He remembers everything. And he uses his time and energy and patience. And like, what's the word I've been seeing that President Trump is? He is a very meticulous planner and plotter. And I do believe that there is something that's going to be cold later on that this is going to come out. I do believe so. I think the idea that we're tabling this for now is because they might find some way. Remember, we have the reconciliation bill. We have all these appropriation bills that are coming up. A lot of stuff's going to be on the table. So I don't know if he's going to put his own money in there, all right, because you want to control that. You actually want the Justice Department to be involved in this. Or maybe President Trump is going to basically pick out the people who deserve it and send it on his own. What do you think, Marshall?
Yeah, I mean, they just can't leave this guy. He's got all this money from this, and then he's putting it on hold. Okay, it's his money, like you said. So, and then they're going to try to trip him up when he tries to help individual people like Tina Peters.
Yeah.
And the fact that they had her locked up was
for
absurd.
606 days.
Yeah,
606 days.
Absolutely ridiculous. A woman is like 70 years old or some shit.
Right, and she's got health problems. She's got a bunch of health problems. She was on Bannon talking about all the stuff. I mean, this is a woman right now, in some way, that should receive this type of payment. Yeah. I mean, obviously reviewing the case and on how, whatever you want to think about what she did and how she did it and stuff, the punishment that she was given. And we also know that the Secretary of State, Griswold, covered a lot of this shit up. So election denier, CNN is pissed off. They call election denier. There's no such thing as election denier, okay? What Tina Peters did was expose that Dominion machines were flipping the vote. That's the bottom line. And the Secretary of State covered it up. The Republican former Mesa County clerk convicted in 2024 of felonies for conspiring with fellow election deniers to breach her county's voting systems in hopes of proving Donald Trump's baseless 2020 voter fraud claims. See, they are so butthurt by this, they can't handle it, and that's how they're writing this and streamlining this. She was sentenced nearly to 9 years in prison, which was reduced last month by Governor Polis to 4.5 years. She ultimately served about 1 year and 8 months in prison, due in part to Colorado's parole policies. Over the years, her plight has become a rallying cry in the election conspiracy movement. And until Monday, she was the last remaining person behind bars in connection with varying efforts by the Trump allies. Now, look, get her, as we're hearing, get her what? Have the marshals, have the Justice Department make her material witness, okay? Make her a material witness, okay? And part of the federal indictments that they're going to do, get the marshals to protect her, move in and get her health vetted. And I think they're all planning this. They're all setting this up and make her some of this. So the information that she has, the information that she went to jail, that was falsely accused of all this crime, to show this. And whatever you want to think about how this came out and unfurled out, the truth is that the Secretary of State covered all this up and they made her look even worse than what she was. And this is the point that she was going to serve an ungodly sentence for something that was nothing. I mean, think about all the people that went because of January 6th that were in jail. Think about all the people that just walk out, that just murdered 14, 15, 16, 17 people. I saw some guy like fucking killed 7 people. He was arrested 46 times. And all white people he killed. And he just keeps going in and out. Why don't someone go and shoot him? I don't understand this, but she gets to serve what? 9 years, 4 years it's commuted. So a year and a half, 8 year and 8 months. So she's going to be on parole for a couple more years. We don't know how this is going to be. I want to scroll down just a little bit. Few signs of remorse. Well, you know what? Here in a letter to Peters granting clemency, Polis said her statement demonstrates taking responsibility for your crimes, Polis told CNN in an interview. But her lawyer, Peter Tickton, who was on Bannon's show discussing, told CNN in a recent interview that he doesn't see it that way. I don't think she indicated that she's feeling contrition or remorse. She basically was admitting to the fact that she could have done it better, Tickton said. It's very hard to be someone who has real contrition. There's a difference between regret and contrition. All right. I could have done something in such a way where she didn't actually deceive anybody, and that was her mistake. In that vein, Peter Tickton, her attorney, continued attacking election officials after her clemency. Peters recently posted on X that Colorado's Secretary of State, Democrat Jenna Griswold, engaged in the cover-up, and Tickton said she deserves decades in prison. Yeah, I think there's a lot of things. She not only covered this all up, they smeared her and they made sure they threw everything against her. And I'll never back down. I'll never give up, and I'll never give in. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad she's out. Hopefully that her health will get back to normal, that she'll be on a better diet. I mean, honestly, I heard her talking about the food and everything and the conditions and where she was with, and she was incarcerated with some really bad people that have committed murder. I mean, it's crazy that she was in that setting, and they wanted something to happen to her. That's why they put her there.
Yeah, and the food, that's another thing, and it's not good. The fact that they put her, it really is. It's just like the J6ers, Brett. I mean, you have no right to lock these people up without any kind of due process, and they have done this, and they've gotten away with it for almost a decade here. I mean, this is insanity. Our country hopefully was turning into something that is not American at all. So hopefully this is the end of this shit and we can go back to actual law and order.
Hopefully. I mean, did you see the vid that was out when she had to defend herself from a young? Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's crazy that she was put in this position. But again, when you think about all this other stuff, yeah, election denier, journalists are complete assholes. Yeah, they just want to they want to sour everything. They want to put the salt on the wounds. Again, that's what they call us. But here we are. When are we going to hear the truth about the stolen election? Are we ever? I mean, aren't we supposed to hear some moniker of this? What was done? How is this all going to unfold? The closer we get to the election in the midterms, is this all going to come out? I mean, hopefully this is going to be squared away with the deal that he made with the UPS and signing that executive order, where now that the envelopes and the mail-in ballots, okay, the dates and everything, all right, that they'll be tracked and traced. Not what's inside the ballot, the actual envelope of that. And that's a good thing. And that USPS will be responsible for that. And if they lose it, they misplace it and stuff, it's going to be on them. So that's a good way of tracking and tracing, because once you scan it, it's already in the system. California passed the Stop Nick Shirley Act. This week, California Assembly passed AB 2624. This bill would criminalize investigative journalism. There you go. California is a rotten state. I don't know what's going to happen with Spencer Pratt when we're hearing that there was places voting booths and ballots that were burnt up. We're going to cover that in a little bit. But this is a rotten state, wholly corrupt, wholly captured, and I don't know what's going to take. I mean, I really hope he wins as mayor, and I also hope in some way that we get a Republican governor in there. I don't know when the fraud, at least the fraud element of the vice president, J.D. Vance, is just going to hit California even harder and harder and open this thing up like a can of worms. We would have made it illegal to expose Somali learning centers if it were in California, or the American hospice fraud in L.A. if they claim reasonable fear. Can you believe that? This bill protects immigration support service providers, which means services provided to immigrants, including healthcare. It has been proven that millions, potentially billions of dollars in fraud have taken place in immigrant support services, which includes nonprofits and NGOs. Yeah. Wow. I mean, just it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible in some way that we're seeing this.
Yeah. I mean, the NGOs, that's another one.
They had to go this far, Marshall. They had to go this far to pass a bill. So you can't be an investigative journalist looking this over.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're shutting down this guy's First Amendment. That's number one right there.
Right.
I mean, you go for Supreme Court would rip this thing up to bits.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they are basically trying to shut down free speech of any kind that they don't like. It's pure Marxist ideology. That's all they've been about. And that's what we've been up against.
Right.
These Bolshevik Marxists. That's all they are.
So True Chairman dropping a $20 Rumble rant. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Tomorrow we vote here in communist California. If California doesn't vote, I'm out. Well, I'm out no matter what. Vote red. That is it. And we're going to cover some of that tonight. I'm going to cover a lot of Pratt. I got really caught up in a lot of his stuff. I mean, I'm really just, I think the guy, he was on Bill Maher. I'm not a Bill Maher fan. Bill Maher is making a little bit more sense now, but you got to understand who Bill Maher is in some way. I mean, he's always going to be that 60s Democrat in some way. I mean, he's recoiled a lot because of what the left is really now, and it's not really the left. It's a radical, I think, black mold that has taken over the Democrat Party. It's disgusting, and it's smothering them. It's killing them in a lot of ways. And I think right now, when you hear this, the ballots are reported burned in L.A. at Spencer Pratt Surges. So apparently he was up in the polling today when I saw it around 1 or 2 o'clock. But the problem of that, what we're facing right now is that a lot of this stuff, here we are, discovery just came 2 days before June 2nd mayoral primary, where Spencer Pratt has turned what many expected to be a stunt campaign into a real race. Separate vote center in Long Beach was also found vandalized over the weekend. Los Angeles County Register clerk still reminding voters Monday that the drop boxes and vote centers remained open. Okay, let's play a little bit this. Well, the damaged ballots were reported discovered inside a drop box at the Department of Public Service Civic Center on East 4th Place in downtown Los Angeles. ABC reported that Air 7 video captured the ballot box near the Civic Center and that officials were investigating the possible election interference. Say it ain't so. Officials said the damage appears to involve a small number of ballots because it happened between the most recent scheduled election and the next morning's retrieval. In a news release, Los Angeles County officials said early Sunday morning, vandalism was found at the voting center at Cesar E. Chavez Park. Oh, my God, to even have a name, Cesar Chavez Park. Wow. You know who that guy is. Located in the 400 block of Golden Avenue of Long Beach. Officials said that the election workers quickly responded and that voting operations were not disrupted. Preliminary information indicates incident was isolated and the involved of small number of ballots as it occurred between the most recent scheduled collection and the following morning's retrieval. Yeah, but, that small amount could in some way indicate in a tight race. So, what's going to be done about that? Can't type, vote fucking red. Bill Maher is like a Coach Roach. He'll do whatever it takes to survive. Yeah, he does in some way. All right, let me get out of this. Your thoughts about this, Marshall, in some way? The limited amount of ballots that were damaged in some way, could that impact the race in some way? If it's a tight race, the fact that if Bass and Spencer get into a runoff because you need 50% or higher, apparently, so there's not going to be a runoff. So hopefully he could win by more than 50% of the vote. I don't know if that's even possible on a three-way race. That depends on how many people want to go out and vote, whether it's vote for him or her in some way. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, it's really obvious what they're doing. They're trying to cheat again.
Yeah.
I mean, any way they can, this is all they do. They can't win a fair race. They never have been able to win a fair race. And so it's obvious. That's what they're fucking doing. I mean, it's really disgusting. We allow it to happen. That's the worst part, Brett, is we allow these people to keep doing this shit.
I'm just sick and tired of California being California. I mean, honestly, a wholly controlled, captured state. And I think for the first time in a real time, I mean, think about it. They can get someone in there like him. Look, he's not your typical Republican. He's not even me or you. I mean, he's basically just common sense, pragmatic about cleaning up the city, making it better and safer. He probably has other things in tow, but he's not really addressing that right now. He's talking about the crime problem they have, talking about the homeless problem, talking about a whole host of other things that I think really sits on people's minds. And if you're from that area, I would be pissed off too. I mean, I would be too. And, you know, after all your homes burned down and all the stuff and all that and all the permits and everything are being held up and stuff. Yeah, I mean, honestly, he wants to change. He wants to make sure something is going to take place and something is going to happen. I think in some way, I hope he wins. I hope they don't steal it from him. It would be very depressing in some way. I hope he wins. And then they get a governor in there that, that's a Republican. That's the only way to fix the problems. Yeah, I think he's an independent. Okay. Is he an independent? True Terran's from California. Curious Cat, you're from California. Is he an independent? Let me know in the chat. I'm not really sure. All right. Then I misspoke then. He probably is. I don't know. I don't know. All right, let's play this. Pratt keeps putting out a banger after banger. This one might be my favorite. I truly believe he can win this thing.
Spencer Pratt says no one in their right mind would vote for Karen Bass. Well, Spencer's wrong.
I'm voting for Karen Bass because I want to keep injecting in public parks.
I'm voting for Karen Bass because I like it here. I'm voting for Karen Bass because I'll be damned if I go back to jail.
I'm voting for Karen Bass because I have a Polymarket bet that the Palisades won't be rebuilt before 2030.
I'm voting for Karen Bass because the more homeless people there are, the more money my nonprofit can raise to fight homelessness.
I'm voting for Karen Bass because my parents support Spencer Pratt and I have unresolved daddy issues.
Vote Karen Bass. She works for us.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. That is really good. Again, these ad campaigns, Marshall, are you can't say enough about them. They're brilliant. Whoever's doing this, whoever's putting this out there, I don't know if it's a group of people, it's his campaign. I don't know who's doing it in some way, but let me know if he's an independent. Is that true? Hello, Mom. Affirmative, Brett. He is an independent. Okay. I did not know that. I thought he was running as a Republican, but that makes sense in some way. So here we go from Julia puts this out. Does everybody know who Doug Ellen is? He's the director of Entourage. Remember that show, Entourage? It was on HBO. It was a great show. I used to love watching that show. The creator of the hit show Entourage, is disgusted by LA's decline in recent years, says he's publicly supports Spencer Pratt in a campaign for LA mayor. Ellen's Beverly Hills home was burglarized by masked intruders, and he shares that while 5 years ago, he didn't have to lock his door. Now he's 15 cameras, 2 German Shepherds, and 3 legal guns. Wow. Talk about arming up. I know they were animals because they invaded my house. I know I don't care what their excuse is. Like a lot of you fucking care. I know invaders of homes should get 20 years. Everyone in my neighborhood who's got the same problem. They're fucking all putting cameras and high-end security guards because they're all getting broken into. And it's not made up. It's not false. And the city has collapsed in the last 5 years. There is no fucking denying it unless you have an agenda. And I don't know what that is, Ellen says. Let's listen to what he's got to say. Man.
One of 15 cameras that I now have at this house. 2 German Shepherds, 3 legal guns. 5 years ago, didn't lock a door here, but you know what happened? 2 animals invaded my house. And no, I'm not racist because they were wearing masks. I don't know if they were white. I don't know if they were Jewish. I don't know if they were fucking rabbis. I know they were animals because they invaded my house. I know I don't care what their excuses are like a lot of you fucking care. I know invaders of homes should get 20 years. But I'm not paranoid, so I don't believe your bullshit about the stats and the crime, because everyone in my neighborhood has got the same problem. They're fucking all putting cameras and hiring security guards because we're all getting broken into. It's not made up. It's not false. And this city has collapsed in the last 5 years. There is no fucking denying it unless you have an agenda, and I don't know what that is. But you say, oh, Spencer Pratt has no experience, so how can we possibly think about this? What experience did Karen Bass have, or Rick Caruso, who we know can build things, who we know can fix problems, when you made sure he couldn't win? So right now, you're putting people in the same position that you did with Trump, who I did not vote for, by the way. You put him in by making sure we had no fucking options, okay? And that's where we are in LA, and we want to fix this place because we don't want to be forced out. I'm one of the people who made this city look great. I did it for years. I glorified it. I meet people all the time that moved here because the show that I fucking created, and they hate it here now. Hate.
Wow. What's your thoughts about that? I don't know if you ever watched Entourage, but the show glorified L.A. and the nightlife and all the other stuff regarding early on, like 2004 or 5. It highlighted L.A. in a lot of different ways as a movie star town and all this other different things. And I think when you hear what he's saying about I didn't vote for Trump because you basically force us into a position you got no one else to vote for, that's also attack on the Democrats, suggesting, well, you put up Kamala Harris and I don't want her either. So there is people out there that are hungry for something new. All right. So when you hear that, what's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, part of me says I don't give a fuck about this guy.
Right.
Because you're the very people that fucking destroy every goddamn thing. So don't sit here and do it now. Come to me with your sad story. And all of a sudden, like before that, everything was honky and dory.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I find it very, very hard for me to feel sorry for these people because they built all this shit and they created it. Now, hopefully, they'll have a different mind view where they can go, you know what? Maybe we need to just do the right thing and fix our shit. Because it just,
So you're saying he's being a little hypocritical and opportunistic?
Absolutely he is.
Okay.
Because he rode the lifestyle.
Right.
He was in the limousine. I didn't hear him complaining then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and now when things get a little bit uncomfortable and your beautiful mansion, it's all of a sudden, oh my God, help us. We gotta. No, you did that. You created your fucking monster. I don't have a lot of pity for that shit, man.
Did you vote for Newsom? I mean, you want to say that?
I mean, I don't know if he did or didn't, but
right,
Pratt, I feel more sorry for because.
But I understand what he's saying. I understand what he's saying is that, look, when you leave us with no option, we're forced into a position. Well, you know what? I mean, when he purposely is pointing that out in some way, he wants people to know that in some way for his own personal, let's just say, askew. He wants to. I didn't vote for him, but you don't give me any options. All right, and I think that was what he was suggesting is if there were more options and stuff that we'd have better understanding of choices. But I understand he's LA and all that other stuff, Hollywood. I get that. But I think he's coming out swinging hard for Spencer Pratt for different reasons, okay? And I think that what the message Pratt is carrying, a lot of people like Doug Ellen, pick up from. It's about the crime. It's about the city that has gone to hell. It's about the chaos. It's about the stand down that LA just allows and permits this stuff to continue on and on. And, nothing is being done to fix the problem. And whether or not you like the guy or not, I understand what you're saying and stuff. I mean,
I like Pratt. I mean, they literally burnt the guy's head. He's got a bigger beef.
Yeah.
He's got a real beef. They fucking destroyed his home.
Yeah.
And now you got taggers on. That's the part that bothers me is the other guy that.
No, I understand. That's why I'm saying, is it hypocritical and opportunistic? Because Spencer Pratt did lose his fucking home. Him and many other people lost their home, and now he can't rebuild his home. And now he's got to stay at the Beverly Hills Hotel, all right, or someplace because of security reasons, because they're threatening to shoot him. I mean, that's crazy. So I guess in some way, I could see both sides about how this is coming out and how people are looking at this. But I think, yes, from the high end, from LA's scene, Hollywood scene in some way and stuff. You know, maybe, I mean, Ellen's coming out full throttle for him in some way. I don't know what it's going to do, but that makes me believe that there are probably going to be people like other people that are going to be voting for him in the same similar fashion because of his description about all the robberies that are going on, all the craziness that is happening in LA. You know what? It's sad. I mean, it's sad in a lot of ways. Everything that is descended into. Did anybody hear recently that what is it? What's his name? The director, Zach something. I forget the guy's name. He's now recreating a very apocalyptic rewrite of Escape from New York. A very dark, apocalyptic Escape from New York. I think the guy who did Star Trek or Star Wars or whatever the fuck the guy's name is. I was reading that in some way. I wanted to put it out there. I'm like, really? You're going to recreate a classic like that? That's going to be interesting. So is LA worth saving? Let's see another one.
Kids called Basura took over the town. She did all sorts of bad things.
Like what?
She let all the drug addicts take over the parks. So no kids had a place to play. Then she let them hurt the puppies. She let them do drugs in front of schools, so none of the kids were safe. While she was partying far, far away, she let the city burn to the ground. That's when everyone said enough is enough. One by one, all the mommies decided it was time to fix things. Remember, there's nothing more powerful than an angry mommy.
Did the mommy save the puppies?
All the mommies came together and kicked the monster out of town, and she never came back. And all the puppies were safe. The end.
It's funny. I mean, they're good. They're good. I mean, I like them a lot. Senor Polo says something really interesting. Gifted the can. This guy in the video, Doug Ellen, is now concerned because it affects him. He didn't care about other non-rich areas. Good point. Good point. That's exactly what Marshall is saying, and that's why I threw that out there. I was trying to play moderator and suggest in some way, what are we not seeing here? Is he being hypocritical and opportunistic? Marshall said yes.
Well, in that commercial, that video you just showed there, when they talk about the dogs and the puppies, most people in this country have no idea what they're doing to these dogs and these puppies.
It's disgusting.
They're raping them.
They're
literally raping,
injecting them with fucking meth and all these types of drugs.
Testing them with the drugs so to make sure that it's okay for them to shoot up. This is not America. It's not America anymore.
No, I mean,
it's a fucking shithole.
Caption. Yeah, it is. It's sad. I mean, I honestly, I really do hope he wins. I mean, I hope that he wins, and then I hope that he makes a huge improvement of cleaning up the fucking city, obviously, and a lot more than that. I mean, he's got to change over something. He's got to win over something. The people probably want it. They need it. I mean, he goes to all these different areas and stuff. I guess he's an independent. I didn't know that. Would you say donated 717 gold pills? Need more gold pill love. Support the boy stream. Thank you so much. The movie should be called Escape from Seattle. Ooh, yeah, I know. There's a terrible mayor over there. All right, let's move forward. I got a couple of things I want to get into before we dip out of here. All right, so there was a couple of things I wanted to cover. Okay. All right, let's get into the Chimp takeovers. All right, because I think in some way this just happened today. Yesterday, I think it happened this weekend. It was actually yesterday or Saturday. So we're having problems right now. Last night. So we're having problems in Clearwater Beach. Anybody who doesn't know that, okay, it's on the water. It's on the other side. And you have certain different types of groups that live over there. A lot of people don't know that area in some way. Who runs the city, runs the town. It's the group, I mean, I don't know why I'm missing it. What's the group's name again?
A Scientologist.
The Scientologists. They built pretty much Clearwater. They own most of the land and the property over there. And that shit don't fly. I can tell you right now. That shit don't fly. And this is what's taking place, and we're going to go over some stuff.
10 Tampa Bay breaking news now.
That type of behavior cannot and will not be tolerated. Make myself clear.
And we were walking to the beach, and all of a sudden we heard 3 gunshots. Boom, boom, boom. Just shocks. It's crazy what's going on right now.
Chaos at Clearwater Beach. A 17-year-old shot several times during a teen takeover. We are live with the latest details just in from police as a shooter has yet to be identified. You're watching 10 Tampa Bay News at 11. I'm Miranda Parnell. We continue to follow breaking news out of Clearwater today. This all happening just after 5 this evening near the Wyndham Grand Resort. This is near the busiest part of the beach. A video here shows large crowds gathering at the main parking lot 15 minutes after the shooting, about a block away. At around 6:15, we saw the crowd gather near that building by Pier 60 before running away. Right now, it's not clear what prompted all of that panic. Then around 6:30, there was some sort of altercation. A patrol car then arrived, and many of the people out there ran off. 10 Tampa Bay News reporter Annie Krall joins us live from outside Clearwater Police Headquarters. She's been following this all day. Annie, this all comes just weeks after Tampa police arrested dozens of teens at a takeover there. Now this incident has left a teenager with gunshot wounds.
Exactly, Miranda. And this all happened after a 17-year-old boy was shot and eventually taken to the hospital. Packed streets in downtown Clearwater Beach area as officers tried to clear that scene and investigate what exactly happened. All of this coming from what some people are calling a teen takeover.
I just sitting on the back porch. I like do some artwork with my shells and stuff and projects, so I'm usually outside. And I heard probably, what I figured was, 6 or 7 gunshots. And I was like, what's going on?
A question the Clearwater Police Department is still trying to answer, but saying social media and an expected teen gathering played a critical role.
I want to send a very, very clear message to anyone who plans to come here and engage in the kind of behavior we saw this evening. Don't do it. If you do, your trip to the beach will end up with a trip to jail.
Several people were taken into custody. Deputy Chief Michael Wallach says several others ran away from the scene. Other witnesses, including Annette Vargas, told us she and her loved ones started running back after they heard the gunshots, an unexpected part of their annual Clearwater visit from Kentucky.
We sit down on our towel, and then all of a sudden we hear more commotion going on. Like now it's not just a shooting. We see all the police going to the Wyndham Hotel.
Officers say they found a 17-year-old boy shot. He was taken to Orlando Health Bayfront Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
This is the first weekend of school being out, and this is going to be the last weekend that this type of behavior happens.
And Deputy...
All right, I'll get out of this. Look, the crackdown has to happen. The sheriffs in these cities, in these counties, have to make sure that we're going to have a lot of tourist season and stuff. And you don't see this type of stuff that happens up. Occasionally you get hiccups where you got the St. Pete people, you know what those are, and then you got some in the North Tampa region that descend down in these areas. But for this incident to happen in this way was problematic. And I can tell you right now, a lot of people right now are concerned that this thing is going to continue to escalate. Now, 22 people, not even a couple of weeks ago, were arrested in Tampa. Kids, 12-year-old kids with guns. I mean, a bunch of them, ranging a bunch of ages and stuff. What's going to happen with them? Are we arresting the parents? Probably not. We should be doing something. There should be people pissed off about this because people do summer vacations, and they want to come to these places, these beaches, and they don't want to see this shit. They don't want to have this crap. Okay, while they're vacationing their time here. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to hurt their vacation time, which is going to hurt money. It's going to hurt pockets. When you showcase this, when you see this, the cities are like, no, we're not allowing that. Fuck no. No. And you know what? It hurts the city because you don't want to go there knowing that this type of shit is going to take place. You want to stay far away from this nonsense. So here it is. Darty puts it out of control. It's not teen takeover. It's blacks. It's blacks. It's black thugs in Clearwater Beach. I saw all blacks there. I'm just calling a spade a spade. Okay, it's not racist to say it's all blacks, and they all get together and gather because they think it's cool, they think it's fun. Let's have a little, let's just say, meetup party, like a BLM party. Start fights, do this, do that. Read what we're supposed to do, and then shoot somebody, and then take off. Time for massive Florida crackdowns. Yeah, where's the attorney general? I want to hear the governor. We need to start cracking down immediately before this escalates and gets out of control. It does. It will. I'm telling you, it will. If you don't stop this, all right, and nip this in the bud right now, you're going to have Antifa riots like you were doing in New Jersey. Your thoughts, Marshall?
Yeah, and the thing is, it's happening all over I see somebody in the chat saying it's Darla. It's not just Florida. This is everywhere. This is in places even like Ohio. This is in Chicago. This is in anywhere where people like to hang out in the summertime. Yeah. So it's everywhere. And it's got to be taken, like you said, Brett. You've got to nip it in the butt. You got to go after these people. You've got to go after the groups that are bringing them here. You've got to go after all of them that are connected. Why we haven't done this up until now? Because it's all part of BLM. This is all part of Antifa. It's the same fucking people.
Right. And you got to control this because, now we're inching across into territories right now. We're in the summer months. All right. Summer is starting. And what that means are people are vacationing. And when you go and act up like this, all right, and when you do this type of behavior and stuff, this hurts the local communities financially. All right. The city pushes back and say, crack down hard. Crack down hard. First of all, if you're under 18 years old, where's your parents? You should not be running around with that. Have the city enforce it. Seriously. If you're under 18, where's your parents? Where's your parents? How did you get to these locations? Well, you can't be here. You can't loiter. You can't sit here and, I don't know, whatever you're doing at the beach in some way. You can't be here.
17-year-old is wounded and several others are detained following a team takeover right here on Clearwater Beach. News Channel 8's Victoria Lucas is live tonight after the deputy chief issued a warning to prevent similar large violent gatherings. Victoria?
Ty, that's right. Deputy Chief Michael Wallach says the department found that the large gatherings seen tonight were planned and coordinated on social media, and the disturbances that followed will not be tolerated.
A chaotic scene at Clearwater Beach as Clearwater police officers tried to contain massive crowds along South Gulfview Boulevard Sunday night.
I just seen somebody point out a car and then cost me a whole bunch of rifles and heard gunshots.
The Clearwater Police Deputy Chief Michael Wallach says his officers were called to Coronado Drive just after 5 for a report of a shooting that started with a fight.
Some of those people who gathered decided to break the law tonight.
Deputy Chief Wallach says a 17-year-old was shot and taken to...
Okay. Moving on with that. I mean, we already saw parts of that, but you saw another video I wanted you to see. I don't think I can't impress upon more of how serious this is. Okay. I don't think people understand how serious this is and what's this lead to. I think a lot of people are not really looking at this and saying, well, it's the summer and they're out of school and stuff. No, it's not. This is going to lead to what just happened. Someone got shot. All right. And more people are going to get shot. And then when you're going to have affecting tourism, when you're going to have hotels and restaurants and other places where people under the age of 18 are loitering or hanging out or whatever, okay, in these areas and doing whatever they're doing there in some way, there's no supervised adults and stuff. Some of these ages range from 12 to 14. Some of these people just rolling around, coming out, and then where are they staying? Who are they staying? See, they're running in the parking garages and everything. This needs to be addressed. It's out of control. Yeah, is Soros paying for it? I don't know, Thea. I don't know who's paying for it. I think law enforcement has an idea of where these things are coming from, Instagram and TikTok in some way. But reposting this because the last video they don't want you to see, the nigger raising of Clearwater Beach, apparently Tampa Bay and St. Pete chimps always invade Clearwater Beach. At least all Mexicans on the Courtney Campbell Causeway don't have shootings. And it sucks because it's such a nice area and have gone there in 2 years. But every year the chimps are there fighting or shooting and not going to risk my life out there. Yep. And that's the problem. And it's going to escalate
Clearwater
now.
Beach is packed right now, guys.
There's no way I'm going there. I'm just not. Look at that.
Still going on.
Tell me how we're going to all live together. How can we? How can we? We clearly have different cultures, different ideologies, different beliefs. They're not going to mesh together. Not in the way that we're seeing today. People are not going to take this shit. They're actually fed up with it.
Yeah, I see that Alphabet mentioned Virginia Beach. Well, I'm from Virginia Beach, Alphabet. Yes, that is true. I was right there near the ocean front living in an apartment when that shit broke out in Virginia Beach in 1998. It was bad. Yeah. All they did was destroy everything. And this has been a common thing for this shit really half my life. Half our lives. I mean, it's been going on for a very long time. Only now recently has it escalated to this point where they've got it because of social media, TikTok and that. They can organize and do these things all over the country conveniently. Yeah. It needs to be shut down. And also, look, we can't rely on the government and the police to do everything.
No.
It is time for the people to stand up and fight for yourself. Okay? We're going to have to fight for ourselves. Ain't nobody going to come along and fight for us.
No, they're not.
Ain't nobody doing that.
I mean, that's a pipe dream. That's a total pipe dream. It's a total Planet of the Apes 2026. Yeah. Sheriff Chitwood is going after the would-be organizers in Daytona. Stopped it at PDQ. Oh, okay. Good. Yeah, I mean, it is a nightmare. It is absolutely a nightmare. Let me show you this and listen to somebody here. Mountain Ninja comes out. I live in Wyoming. Don't try this shit here because everyone is carrying and knows how to use their guns. You know, I've been watching what my wife got me watching. I don't know, not Landman, the other show, Marshals. I watched that. That's a good show. Was that in Wyoming or Montana? Yeah, you don't fuck around with those people. Everybody has a gun. You don't see that stuff happening there. Those people would be buried in some fucking mountainous regime. None of this shit happens in these areas. And I think, pretty damn quick. So listen to this. So listen to this one person talk about this. Listen to what she says here.
I just came to Clearwater Beach for the first time in like years because I don't come here. We go to like Paso Girl or whatever, and I just cannot believe the type of crowd that's here.
The type of crowd.
Shocked.
She's afraid to say it.
I've been a native for a long time. I've had seen sheriffs walking around with ARs today.
ARs.
There was a shooting at the Wyndham. This is just, come on.
I'm telling you, our cultures cannot coincide together. They just can't. I don't know how they can. Okay. No one goes to jail. No one gets arrested. Everybody. When you let all these people out, you just arrest them. They just go in and out like a turnstile. They murder, rape, kill, and stuff like that. And we got to put up with this stuff. It happens all the time. I mean, honestly, I'm so sick of it. I'm sick and tired of talking about it. I'm sick and tired of seeing it. But, this is what we live in. As much as I love Trump and all this other stuff, and I'm glad he's cleaning up D.C. and stuff, and it's the states that do this and stuff, we have to defend ourselves. We have to stand up for ourselves. No one's going to come for our aid anymore. I'd like to see more people in the municipalities, okay, the mayors, the city, the counties, to push back about this stuff. I mean, honestly, but they're scared. Some people are just scared. They don't like to say certain words that offend people. Well, you know what? I'm tired of being what? I'm tired of not being offended. I'm tired of seeing this shit. That's offensive. And it's worrisome that we're allowing this type of behavior to continue on. And I'm telling you, if you let this go, it's just going to grow and grow and grow. And it's said that a lot of people don't go to certain beaches because of this disgusting display of what? And these people just roam around doing whatever they want. Here it is. There's another part here. I think there was a part here. Look at that. I mean, there's a lot of people that were sharing this today on X, which when you really think about it, is shocking. A lot of people were sharing this, not because they just want to shit on black people, but the bottom line is they're calling it out. They're tired of this fatigue. They're angry. They're frustrated. They're like, why is this happening? Who is in charge of this? Who is funding this? Why are these people chimping out in these places and acting up like this? And now people are getting shot. And see, now the realization is driving people home that people are going to start to wake up and say, hey, look, We don't want to deal with this anymore. The white culture does not want to be embedded with this nonsense. We don't. Asians don't want it. Hispanics don't want it. You see a lot of different groups of people out there are pushing back on this. So meet Natasha, China's favorite stress toy. This is fucking hilarious, and he sent it to me.
Stress relief toy nicknamed Natasha are going viral online and sparking major controversy. The doll resembles a small black baby, and in many clips, users squeeze it, stomp on it, throw it, and even run it over for content. The videos are usually framed as jokes or stress relief, and the trend has spread quickly across social media. What caught people's attention is that these toys come in multiple colors, yet the trend seems heavily focused on this specific version of the doll. That immediately made some viewers uncomfortable. As the clip spread online, reactions became divided. Some people dismissed it as harmless internet humor involving a squishy toy. Others argued the videos felt disturbing, especially because the doll appears to represent a black child while being used in violent or humiliating ways. The debate quickly moved beyond the toy itself and turned into a larger conversation about race, online behavior, and how far people push trends for views and engagement. And now the internet is split. Some people say critics are overreacting to a toy, while others believe there's a reason this specific doll became the center of the trend in the first place.
Remember who made this? This was a Chinese product. So they made that. Okay? And what does that tell you?
So what do you think? Harmless stress relief content, or does this trend cross a line?
What's your thoughts about that? Marshall shared that with me. I think it's funny, but it was a Chinese company that made that. And, you know, they have all different colors, but some people took it to the next level in some way. And I think it's funny. It's hilarious in some way that they're taking it another level. And now they're calling it racist and all this other stuff. Don't blame us. It's a Chinese company that mass produced it, that came up with that. I mean, what's your thoughts about that, Marshall?
I've got it in my cart on Amazon. I've literally got one in my cart. I'm going to get one from Amazon. They're like $9. I'm like, what the fuck? I need one of these.
Oh, my
Squeeze
God.
it, punch it, step on it, whatever the fuck. I mean, these people, they deserve it. You know, and people are like, what's the next step, Brett? Once you haven't gotten enough of the stress of punching and stretching this black fucking thing. Okay? So you've got to go to a next level. What's the next level? I don't know. Putting a fucking bullet in your barrel and going to town. So, I mean, hey, I'm just saying, people have had enough, Brad.
Yeah.
People have had enough. Even the Asian, they even got a chocolate baby, black baby, a chocolate black baby, and the Chinese are eating it.
Yeah.
And they're eating it.
And they made that. I mean, it's not us. I mean, they made that. I mean, it's like, and the pushback is all, I've seen the pushback and people like bitching and moaning, damn, Beastie Boy Marshall, you got to fight for your right. Damn good line. Thank you, Thea, for the cookie. So we'll end up with this. So I saw American Thinker put this out. Okay. And I saw this and look at the date. Black Accomplishments 101. Now, I think this is very sardonic, very sarcastic. It definitely, there is a rug pull in there, but let's go over this a little bit. And I just want to show you this. And I'm trying to understand how the humor is falling into it. Are they being completely sardonic and sarcastic? Yeah, definitely. I mean, listen to this. Ever since high school, we've been aware of Black accomplishments. With each occasion of Black History Month in February, there was Harriet Tubman's railroad and Rosa Parks' bus seat. But most memorable of all was George Washington Carver, who invented the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which was a mainstay of kids' lunches until nervous white mothers had it banned from schools. Apart from those recollections, I'm not giving it much thought to the cultural legacy of Blacks, except for their music, dance, and comedy. However, around the time of George Floyd, I started to hear a common refrain that Blacks had built this country. Yeah, we hear that quite a bit. The authors of New York Times 1619 Project made that clear to everyone who read that article. I got to thinking that maybe I missed something in high school during Black History Month. It was then I ran on the internet, searched on Black accomplishments, and I was astounded to discover that I had overlooked quite few. Again, you see the tone, listen to the tone and temper of this. I never realized that Black folks had invented so many useful things that we take for granted today. Continue on that. Topping the list of 50 inventions, this is great, by black people is the traffic light by a black man named Garrett Morgan. Invented in 1923, Morgan's 3-position traffic signal made roads safer for drivers and pedestrians. Okay, technically, it was only the yellow light that was invented, but it still counts. Interesting, white and black people construe the meaning of yellow differently. Whites are more inclined to exercise caution approaching yellow light, while black people take it as a cue to speed up before the light changes red. In the number of a 3 spot is Garrett Morgan again, with his invention in 1912, a gas mask that helped protect workers and soldiers from smoke and hazardous gases. Again, follow the tempo, see it being sarcastic and sardonic. It seems that Garrett was the first black serial entrepreneur. I'm going to skip ahead to the number 8 spot with the invention of the modern ironing board by Sarah Boone. Boone's 1892 design made irony easier and improving its shape and stability. Apparently not stable enough, because I had witnessed them tip over several times when a curious infant grabs it onto its legs. But let's give her some credit anyway for trying. At number 12 and 13, we have the invention of the dustpan, a self-rigging mop. What a tragedy that black creativity and innovation seem to be a relic of the past. Coming in at number 29 is George Crumb's invention of the potato chip. George was probably done more to bring happiness to countless generations of workforce who have potato and Coke as snacks during their work and leisure time. Hats off to you, George Crumb. A black woman also owe a lot of thanks to number 34, Christina Jenkins, who invented a synthetic hair weave technique in the 1950s, revolutionizing the black beauty industry, except for a period during the Black Power era with the brief ascendancy of the Afro hairstyle. The hair weave has been an integral part of the black woman's fashion. At number 41, we all have an all-time favorite black inventor, Lonnie Johnson, who came up with the idea for the super soaker. However, there are probably female readers among this with that are not fond memory of being drenched from one yielding by a younger brother. This is by no means an exhaustive list here. There's another that includes the doorknob. All of us, black and white, should be thankful for the contributions that blacks have made to our modern day way of life. Whatever you want to take from this, I just think that the humor and the tempo and the sarcasm in there by American Thinker was really, wow. I mean, basically, because we're told that they basically created everything, and since they created everything, we stole the land, and we should go back to Europe and stuff, because they created everything, apparently. I guess American Thinker thought it was a really good idea, brilliant, to put that article out to define what is the truth. Your thoughts, Marshall, as we part ways?
The problem is the cope is so fucking hard, man.
Oh, I know.
I mean, the cope is massive. It's all over the place. The more and more, thank God for. I got to give Elon Musk a lot of credit.
Yeah.
For even though I'm banned from there now, I got to give him credit for X, because people on X and others, actually even TikTok and others, are telling the truth. And what is the truth? There are not one species of humans on this planet. There are more than one species of humans on this planet. One species is more advanced than the other. Now, there might be a third or a fourth. We live, they live, whatever. Who knows? Well, one thing is for sure. The black culture or people are not exactly the same as the white people. They're built different. Their brains are different. Their DNA is probably a little different. That's a hard truth. And I think they're finding out all this shit. And now they're trying to compensate or overcompensate or deflect and say, well, we invented everything. Well, of course you're going to do that if you're being exposed.
When did the culture really go off? I mean, we didn't have this back in the 90s and the 80s. I mean, even in the early 2000s. I mean, the only time we were unified as a country is after 9/11, and we know how long that lasted. So my point is that when did everything go so awry, and we allow this type of chaos and just nonsensical behavior to just reach tipping points when they say they want to jail the parents. They want to go after this stuff. Then good, show us that. But you don't want to enforce the laws either, where people walk in and out of the turnstile of the judicial system committing heinous crimes left and right against white people. But when we see a culture that has gone completely off the rails and we're just sick of it, you got to ask yourself this: how are we ever going to coalesce as one? I mean, we may be Americans. We won't. It's just, you know what I'm saying?
It's not possible.
I mean, you have to go about the cultural relativism and the 1965 civil rights. We should never have been forced into this position, and we are. And we keep pretending in some way that we can all, come together in some, whatever. I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it. I think the insanity, as you said, the butthole installed for a reason. Yeah. Look, I just don't know. I just don't know how that's going to happen when saw parenting, no parents. The bottom line is as simply is that things are progressively getting worse. I don't care what the FBI says. They're bullshit. All right. Because if you're talking about
part of the problem.
That's the problem. You believe the FBI?
90%
they're
of the crime is black crime, white crime.
Right. You can't.
They're literally putting statistics into the fucking numbers that white people are creating all the fucking crimes. That's a goddamn lie.
I know. That's the
it's
problem.
It's a fucking lie. People don't have no idea, Brett.
No,
they have no idea.
I know. And it's just like, I don't want to buy. I'm not buying into that bullshit anymore. I'm just, you can't sell me
Jimmy the Greek started this whole thing.
Yeah.
You go back to Jimmy. I know you're old enough, Brett, to remember when Jimmy the Greek said that black athletes were better at physical, like football and that, than white athletes, something like that. And what did they do? They destroyed the guy.
Yeah.
Destroyed him. And he told the fucking truth.
Yeah.
This, Brett, we've got.
Well, look at Jason Dart. Look at Jason Dart. I mean, he comes out and introduced President Trump at Rockland County rally in New York, and his teammate, Abdul something Carter, whatever the fuck his name is, didn't like it, gave him shit, and he stood his ground. You know what I'm saying? And got in his face and stuff, and that kind of shit. Like I said, trade the fucking guy then. I mean, honestly, he's still fucking ticked off and pissed off. Get over yourself. But, it's like, why don't you call it out and wondering and ask that? It's like, see, this is your culture. All right. Your culture, you get in people's faces, you get angry. You can't control you have no emotional intelligence. You lack the EQ. You lack all the realities that we need to have in this country. And look, and we wonder why we go on daily and we report all these things. We show these things. We break it down. We question, why is this allowed to happen? Just like the Antifa stuff. Why is that allowed to happen? Why aren't they arresting the buses? Why aren't they pulling the buses over? Why are they not watching this in some way? Why is this allowed to continue to happen? I mean, how much more do we have to endure? I understand that there's a plan in some place that's going to happen, that they're driving up this narrative for the Summer of Love 2.0 or some type of mission creep of nonsense that is going to take place based upon using social media apps in some way. It's just expanding, but this has to be put to rest. You just can't. I mean, what happened? You had no problem locking up J6ers. Predominantly, most of them were white. But see, you have a problem going after structurally to arrest all these people. All right? For just what? Truancy, vagrancy, you name it. Trespassing. You could go through the list. I mean, I'm just, at this point and stuff, no one can tell me anymore that I'm supposed to assimilate. All right? Because I think we've tried that. We've made an attempt to do that, and it doesn't work. It actually ends up worse. Okay? We end up becoming the Indians that Columbus met. Okay? That's what it turns out to be. And I don't want to be the Indians that Columbus met. Realize that. That's history, but understand that. We're not going to be those people anymore. And so no one's going to ever sit there and drive in the idea that in some way, that culture I'm going to embrace. No, I don't. I want to live far away from you as possible. I mean, you think Doug Ellen, all right, that you just saw, has all these cameras all over his house, multiple guns and German Shepherds, when he doesn't want to say the race of the people that were wearing masks because he knows it wasn't white people. He knows it. He doesn't want to say that. He wants to come out looking good in some way. Oh, I'm not a racist, but I got to call this out. That's the hypocrisy and opportunism some people, instead of actually saying the true facts and what it really means and what it is. This shit has got to end. It's got to end, and it's got to end soon. Because I don't care. I don't care what anybody says that we all have to go along, blah, blah. Fuck that. No, we don't. No, we don't. Go ahead, Marshall, before we dip out of here.
Yeah, the people like that guy, the reason he didn't say it is because he's a pussy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
He doesn't want to come out and be honest with everyone and say the fucking truth.
Yeah.
And the truth is, we cannot live together. These people were forced on us by a group of people. I won't say their name, but you know what I'm talking about. The slave trade and the whole deal. That was run by the fucking Jews.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it. That's fact. That's in history. That's not me putting down somebody. I'm not. It's just the truth. So
it's just
we've got to realize, man.
Yeah.
We've got to come to realization. We are not going to really deal
Why should our lives be met with this type of chaos?
No, I'm sick of it.
I mean, honestly, I think we've had enough of it. Not with just all the illegal criminal alien scum that's still in this country walking around, the monsters or in the corners that are hiding, that they're still going after. Maybe the crime from their standpoint is going down from that, or maybe something else. But I mean, I don't believe any of these things that are happening, because all I do is I see another murder, another attack, another rape, a woman in Atlanta getting stabbed. Okay. An elderly woman close to 70 getting stabbed and killed, mauled on Atlanta, waiting for a train. I mean, on a platform. I mean, it's just
nowhere in the media. Nowhere in the media.
Yeah, because it was a black on black crime. But see, the point being, in some way, if it was black on white, they would definitely try to hide that. But that was all over the place. But I think ultimately what I'm trying to say is that, look, if they can't get along with themselves, they're not going to get along with you. And I think I'm just tired of seeing this type of scenario pop up, that in some way that we can't say anything, we can't talk about it, we can't have an honest discussion or debate about it. No, we can. We should. We're going to need to. Because it's only going to get worse, and our attitude, our vitriol, and many other things are going to be heightened. That's our show for tonight. That's our show for tonight, and we will catch you on Wednesday. Good night, Marshall. Take care, everybody. Ciao.
Good night, everybody.